Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am putting together this video to help people diagnose and troubleshoot problems with GFCI protected receptacles. In another video that I posted to YouTube, in actually the other bathroom in this same exact house, I had the same problem, and I didn't really do a good job of documenting it for the video. So here's a follow-up video. GFCI protected receptacle. Some bobo-headed retard motherfucker decided that he was going to be an electrician for a day and put in these GFI receptacles in these bathrooms. Unfortunately, he was lacking a bit of knowledge, and so because of that, this GFCI receptacle actually turns the lights and the exhaust fan off when tripped. And here's an example of that. Look at that. We're in complete dark now, and the exhaust fan does not work. So, in order to fix this, I'm going to use a couple of tools that you may or may not have access to. Hopefully you do if you're trying to do this. Tools are a Klein proximity voltage tester, which will light up red and beep when power is detected. I'm going to use my impact, but if you don't have an impact drill, you can use a regular Phillips head screwdriver, and my small flat blade trim screwdriver. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the power off to this receptacle and take it out of the wall and show you guys what's really going on. I'll be back. Okay, so there are a couple of problems here that I'd like to address. The first one is the wiring. This is not a legal ground. If this house was older, you might see a Buchanan crimp barrel tying these two ground wires together. And it would be okay if this was older work, and it, you wouldn't have a problem. However, because the codes have changed, this is not suitable. These two wires actually need to be separated and pigtailed with a wire nut so that only one wire comes out and goes to the ground screw, which is this little guy right here, this green screw. So while I'm doing this, I'm also going to repair that. Now, because of the way this was wired, the fix is simple. On the back of this receptacle, you're going to see that one set of screws is marked. I don't know if the camera will pick up on that. It says load. There we go. Thank you, camera, for focusing. And the other side says line. The only reason that you would need to hook a GFCI receptacle up in this manner would be if you had further receptacles down the line that were being fed from here that you needed or wanted to be GFI protected. Because this other set of wires is actually providing power to the switch, which then provides power to the exhaust fan and the light in this bathroom, this is not correct. All of these wires should be on the same set of screws. And what you're going to want to do is put them all on the line side. What that means is that if this GFI were to trip, there is still power going there. That is the way a GFI works. The GFI detects a fault in the ground and then in between the ground and the neutral, and it trips. And so in this case, when the GFI trips, I lose power to the exhaust fan and lights. If this was wired properly, that wouldn't happen. The GFI could trip independently of the fan, exhaust fan and lights. However, it doesn't, and that's not the way it is. I fully believe that this GFI functions properly as it should because I've tested it. I just think that the electrician for a day had no idea what he was doing. Another thing I'd like to point out in this exact situation, you can see on these wires when you're looking at them that they either don't go all the way into the back of the receptacle, or they were stripped too far back at the time of installation. This is a problem for many reasons. You combine that with the illegal ground, and all of these wires have to fold into this box. You know, when you push the receptacle in, all these wires have to go in there. And so immediately, because these grounds are doubled up and twisted together, they're stiffer than all the other wires. So when I go to push this in, that ground wire wants to lay across the bottom. Now, if I use a reasonable amount of force to push this in, there's a good chance that that ground wire is going to fold and make contact with one of these other wires, which is going to give you either a dead short that will pop the circuit breaker, or the GFI will just continually trip. And so after I take this apart, I'm going to re-strip these wires and put them in properly. And I'm also going to fix the ground. So let me do that, and I will be back to show you the finished product. All right, so there you have it. You have both your neutral, which are the white wires, on the same screw, and both of your hots, which is the black wire, all on the same side, which is the line side. And I trimmed the wires back and then re-stripped them properly so that no copper, if any, is showing. Also want to mention, for those of you who don't know, when you're hooking up this GFI, or most receptacles for that matter, these screws are color coded so that, well, even a blind squirrel can find a nut. Your neutral, or the white wire, tends to be silver colored screws. Your ground will be a green screw, and your hot will be a brass or gold colored screw. It's kind of like a fail safe to make sure you don't fuck it up. So, to show my theory, well, not really a theory, but to show you that this works, I'm going to turn the power back on and test this GFI again. Immediately upon turning the power on, the light fixture in this bathroom came on, even though the GFI is in the trip position. You can tell it's in the trip position because this red light is lit up and the reset button is pushed out. So, resetting the GFI, plug my tester in without shocking myself, and let me turn the lights in the bathroom off now that they function from the switch like they should. I've got two lights on my plug tester, and if you look at the diagram on top of the plug tester, your two, camera doesn't want to focus, your two yellow lights show it's correct. There we go, finally focusing. So now I'm going to turn the lights back on and use this red button on the top of my GFCI plug tester to trip the GFI and show that the lights and the exhaust fan both continue to stay on. And you're going to hear a pop. That pop is the sound of the GFI popping, and you'll see these two lights go out. So now the receptacle portion of this is dead because the GFI tripped. But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled for 1 second. These screws that are on the line side of the receptacle are still very much active and live and will shock you. If I was to touch this screw, I'd get whacked. And because there is a light and a fan that's also drawing power from this circuit, if I was to touch the neutral screw while this exhaust fan and light are on, I would also get whacked. So don't do that, for your safety and my peace of mind. Alright, well, that's it. This is another GFI fuck up fix. Thanks to me for fixing it and Adam for fucking it up. Have a good day.